I'm gonna say something that's gonna get me yelled at in the comments. I'm tired of the Elon fight. The politics, the tweets, who he made mad this week. Everybody's so busy screaming about that, they're missing what's actually killing Tesla, and it's worse than anything he ever posted online. And while everyone's been arguing about Elon, Tesla has been quietly falling apart. Here's the first sign nobody wants to admit. If you bought a Tesla a couple years ago, it's worth way less today than you think. I found that out when a guy brought his 2-year-old Tesla into my shop to trade it in, and the number I gave him made him think I was ripping him off. I wasn't. That's just what these are worth now. And a lot of you keep telling me in the comments, your local showroom feels like a ghost town. You're not imagining it. So let's get into what's really going wrong. Tesla used to only know one direction, and that direction was UP. More cars every year, no exceptions, year after year. That was the whole story. Then it stopped. Last year, Tesla sold fewer cars than the year before. And the year before that, same story, down again. 2 years in a row, going backwards. And here is the part that should scare them. The drop is getting steeper, not smaller. The first year, it was a tiny dip. The next year, it fell off a cliff, down almost 9%. Now the Tesla diehards will jump in here and say, but Alex, they had a record quarter. And they did. For about 3 months, the sales numbers shot up to a record, an all-time high. So what happened? The government tax credit on electric cars was about to die. $7,500 gone forever on a deadline. So every buyer who was on the fence rushed in to grab the car before the discount disappeared. But that is not real demand. It is a panic grab before the door slams shut. And the second the credit expired, the sales completely collapsed. In 1 month here in the United States, they sold under 40,000 cars, the worst they had done in years. The record quarter was a mirage, and everybody who looked closely knew it. But it gets worse. Tesla also lost the crown. For years, Tesla was the king of electric cars on the entire planet. Nobody was close. Today, the biggest electric car maker in the world is a Chinese company called BYD, and it is not even a contest anymore. BYD outsold Tesla by more than 600,000 cars last year. But the king losing the crown is not even the worst part. The worst part is where it happened. China was supposed to be Tesla's golden goose. Huge market, hungry buyers, a massive factory right there in Shanghai. And Tesla just got steamrolled. They fell all the way to 5th place over there. And the car that did a lot of the damage came from a phone maker. Xiaomi, the people who make your buddy's cheap smartphone, built a sedan called the SU7, and it outsold the Model 3 in China for the whole year. A company that had never built a car before walked in and beat Tesla's bread and butter sedan on its own turf. So why did it happen? Because the SU7 was cheaper, went further on a charge, and the tech inside it made the Model 3 feel like an old flip phone. Young buyers over there do not care about the badge. They care about what the car can actually do, and Tesla showed up with the same car they had been selling for years. So that's China gone. But Europe might be even uglier. Tesla sales across Europe last year fell almost 28%. In Germany, the home of the car, they got cut roughly in half. And here's the kicker that tells you it's not just a fad. While Tesla was falling apart over there, the European electric car market overall was growing. Everybody else was selling more electric cars. Tesla was selling fewer. You can't blame that on the market. And it didn't stop. This past spring, Tesla's numbers in Europe fell by about half again. A full year later and the floor is still dropping out from under them. But here's the number that made my jaw drop. Norway is the most electric car crazy country on the planet. Over there they buy electric cars the way the rest of us buy groceries. And there was a month this year where Tesla registered 83 cars in the entire country. Not 83,000, 83. You could fit every Tesla Norway bought that month in a single parking lot and have room left over. Now, I know exactly what some of you are typing right now. It's the politics, Alex. People hate Elon. And look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that didn't do real damage, because it did. The folks who measure this stuff say Tesla's brand is worth less than half what it was a couple of years ago. That's real. But here's why I think the politics is a distraction. Because if you stopped right there, you'd think Tesla just needs Elon to log off and everything goes back to normal. And that is not true, because the deeper problem has nothing to do with his mouth. It has to do with the money. This is the part that really got me when I dug into it. There was a quarter last year when Tesla made more money selling pollution credits to other car companies than it made from actually selling cars. Let me explain, because it is wild. For years, other automakers who could not meet clean car rules just paid Tesla for credits to cover themselves. Free money falling out of the sky straight into Tesla's pocket. In that one quarter, that free money was bigger than the company's entire profit, which means if you take it away, the cars themselves, the thing Tesla is famous for, were basically just breaking even. But it got worse. The government changed the rules and eliminated the fines that forced those payments in the first place. No more fines, no more reason for anybody to buy Tesla's credits. Just like that, more than $1 billion Tesla had been counting on started drying up. So now you have a car company that was leaning on a money faucet, and somebody just shut the faucet off. Take away those credits and the accounting tricks, and actually building and selling cars barely makes them a dime. So that's the situation. Sales falling, profits hollow. Here's the question that actually matters. What did Tesla do about it? And this is where I get fired up at Tesla, because the answer is basically nothing. Or worse than nothing. Remember the cheap Tesla? The $25,000 car they promised for years, the one that was supposed to put a Tesla in every driveway? Canceled. They quietly killed the whole thing. What they gave us instead was the same Model 3 and Model Y, just with the nice stuff stripped out, and somehow it was not even really cheaper. They took out the back screen, the fancy lighting, the heated back seats, and called it the affordable one. Calling that a new car is a joke. It is the old one with the good parts ripped out. And the lineup itself is getting old. The Model S and the Model X, the cars that built this company's reputation, are getting wound down. Here's the part that says everything about where their head is at. The factory line that used to build those cars in Fremont, they are turning it over to build robots. Actual humanoid robots. They would rather build a robot than the cars that made them famous. That is not a rumor I am spinning. That is the plan. Then there's the Cybertruck. Oh boy, the Cybertruck. I will just say it, and you can fight me in the comments. The way this thing is built, it is one of the worst put together vehicles I have seen from a big car maker in 20 years. Elon promised they would sell 250,000 to 500,000 of these a year. You know what they actually sold last year? About 20,000, down roughly half from the year before. And the recalls were almost comedy. There was a recall because the gas pedal could get stuck. There was a recall because the outside panels were literally peeling off because they were glued on. And that cheap version of the truck they promised, they built 173 of them and quietly pulled the plug. 173. I have seen single dealerships move more trucks than that in a month. And the people who built this company, they are walking out the door. Tesla has been bleeding executives. They cycled through their top sales leadership like a revolving door. Their head of operations for North America, gone. A sales boss who had been there 15 years, gone. A finance guy who was there before the company was worth a dime, walked out this year. When the people who know the company best are heading for the exits, that tells you something. And remember that trade-in guy from the start, the one whose face dropped? He is not some rare case anymore. That's just normal now. Last year, used Tesla values fell about 10%, while the rest of the used car market actually went up. Every other used car on the lot got more valuable, and Tesla's got cheaper. The market is telling you exactly what it thinks of these cars right now, and it's not a compliment. Real quick, if you've made it this far and you're getting something out of this, hit subscribe. It helps more than you'd think. Alright, here's the part nobody's talking about, and it's the whole reason I made this video. So if Tesla isn't really betting on cars anymore, what are they betting on? They are betting everything, the entire future of the company, on self-driving robotaxis. The idea is that one day your Tesla drives itself, picks up strangers, and makes you money while you sleep. That's the dream they're selling. So how's it actually going? They launched the robotaxi service in Austin, Texas. Big moment, huge hype. Then you look at the actual fleet. Remember that number from the start of the video? 42. That's roughly how many real driverless Tesla robotaxis are allowed out on the road in Texas. Now here's the comparison nobody wants to make. Waymo, the Google one, the boring one nobody talks about, has 577 in that same state. Tesla, the company betting its entire existence on winning this race, is getting beaten more than 10-1 by a competitor barely anybody can even name. And it gets a little ridiculous. To pull off that big reveal video of a Tesla driving with nobody in the front seat, the reports say they had a second car following right behind with a human in it, just in case. There were safety people sitting in the cars too. So the no-driver future showed up with a babysitter. That does not sound like the future to me. But here's the part that actually bothers me as somebody who works on cars for a living. The early safety numbers are not good. When you look at the crash data that's come out, these robotaxis crash way more often than a normal person would over the same miles. So these robotaxis are not safer than a person. They are more dangerous. And Tesla blacked out the details of those crash reports, calling them confidential. I will be straight with you. I would not put my kid in the back of one of these things right now, and that is me saying it as a guy who trusts machines for a living. Tell me below if you would actually ride in one. I'm curious. Meanwhile, that boring competitor I mentioned, Waymo is quietly giving more than 1 million paid rides every single month in multiple cities, with a safety record that's actually solid. They are not promising the future. They are already doing it. Tesla is promising, Waymo is delivering, and the gap is getting wider, not smaller. So now connect the dots with me, because this is the whole thing. Here's the crazy part. For every single dollar Tesla actually earns, people are paying around $300 to own a slice of the company. A normal car maker, more like 10 or 15. So almost the entire value of Tesla, the thing that makes it one of the most valuable companies on Earth, is not about the cars at all. It's a bet. A bet on robotaxis they are losing, and a humanoid robot that barely exists yet. People are not buying a car company anymore. They are buying a promise. And the promise is wobbling. Now I want to be fair, because I am not here to dance on anybody's grave. It is not all dark. Tesla's battery storage business actually had a record year, and that is a real business. The stock even climbed back up. So I am not telling you the lights are off and everybody should go home. Tesla is not going bankrupt tomorrow. But that is not the question. Here's where I land. Tesla did not get killed by Elon's politics. That is the easy story, the one everybody is fighting about, and it lets the company off the hook. The real story is harder. Tesla quit being a car company while it was still ahead. They stopped fighting for the everyday car buyer. They let the lineup get old. They killed the cheap car people actually wanted. And they dumped everything into a self-driving bet they are now losing to a company nobody even talks about. That is a strategy problem. And strategy problems do not go away when somebody logs off Twitter. So if you are out there right now about to pull the trigger on a new Model Y, stop. Do not click off, and whatever you do, do not sign anything yet. Because I put together a whole video on 5 reasons you should wait for the 2027 Model Y instead of buying the 2026. And reason number 2 alone is the kind of thing that will make you mad. You almost paid full price. That video is right there on your screen. Go watch it before you set foot in a dealership.